it's Joshua D. Faulkner. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we are going to be counting down my top 10 favorite movies of 2020. On my Instagram poll, I posted a thing asking if you guys wanted the 2020 list or 2021 list first, and you guys chose 2020. So if you want to participate in these polls in the future, make sure to follow me on my Instagram as well as my Twitter to stay updated within this further community. So make sure to list down below your top 10 favorite movies of 2020, and let's begin with my own. Coming in with last place at number 10 is The Lodge. This is a movie not many people have seen. It's on Hulu currently, and it's just a psychological thriller, almost leading into the horror genre, where this family goes into this lodge, and the dad leaves out to get some supplies, and there's a snowstorm that traps the mom and the two kids in the house, and just things go haywire from there. And the cabin fever is just real within this movie, and it really makes me feel trapped within the film, as well as just the audience that it's intended to really drive you crazy within the film itself. I know some people didn't like it so much, but for me, it really worked. The music, the atmosphere, it was really just well crafted. Just this whole environment, and you really begin to resonate as the pace begins to pick up. It's a little bit of a slower film, but I feel like it may just be right for some of you as well. Coming in at number 10, we have I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Now, this is another film where it was a bit controversial, whether you liked it or loved it, and for me, I loved it. This is a film that was very poetic. It's very confusing at times because of the way things transition. Things are not explained so much, and I know there's a novel that I want to check out. I'm not sure if the novel offers any answers either, but it's really just fun somehow to be confused by these different things. And it sounds like a negative thing I'm talking about, but it's very atmospheric, sucking me into trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And the acting is good. The voices are like somehow match the tone, and just the changes is very bizarre, and the bizarreness is really what captivates me. And as the story goes along, this girl wants to break up with this guy, but then things just go in such odd directions that in the end, I just really adore for what it's going for. And coming in at number 8, we have The Invisible Man, a movie that most people love from this year. And of course, I enjoyed it as well. The horror aspect is really good. I never got to see the classic just yet, but for the reboot of what it's doing, Elizabeth Moss is such an amazing actress in this role, and the technology is really making this come to life. You're really beginning to feel the suspense of all the actions and all the suspense of not knowing what's going to come next. And there's not so much the jump scares. It's more very natural that you begin to sense this fear of not knowing where that invisible man is, and learning of all the technology and what's behind the invisible man, and the plot that's out to get Elizabeth Moss' character is just really captivating in the end. And coming in at number 7, it's not really a movie, but it is still a film. I consider it a film, which is the musical Hamilton. And this was put on Disney Plus as a live screening, but I still consider it a film just as it is. And the music is captivating and catchy. I remember a lot of people talking about this, and all the acting is really good, of course, for a Broadway show, and just performances are really good. The story's captivating. It's not a story I'm going to watch over and over. And in fact, I've only seen it once, but it still resonates with me as a film, as this Broadway performance that maybe one day I hope to see in production in full. But right now, it's going to be really interesting what goes along with that if Broadway opens up and how that's going along. But overall, as the film that's made for Disney Plus, I just really enjoyed what it had to offer, the songs, the beat, the story, all in all. And coming in at number 6, we have Pieces of a Woman. And now this is a film that came late on Netflix, like early January of 2021, but it was still a movie that released in theaters in 2020 in the US. So I consider it a 2020 film that I highly enjoy. It's really personal to this sort of atmosphere where this mother gives birth to a child and she loses it. So it's just really hard and heartbreaking. The performances were amazing, and it's really revealing to this type of story that I personally have not witnessed or had any sort of connection to anyone personally, but it just becomes that much more real because of how it's portrayed, the emotions, how that affects the relationship between husband and wife. All in all, it's really heartbreaking, but it shows the hope and just ways that the mother gets through it in the end. And coming in at number 5, we have Pixar's entry with Onward. Now, this is a fun father story where these fantasy world building creatures of, you get Tom Holland and Chris Pratt playing the two leads of all roles, playing brothers, and they have a magical staff that can bring your father back, but it only brings half of them with the spell disenchanted, and they have to race against time to bring their father back before the 24 hours is up. And it's really just an engaging adventure. It's not without flaws, but it just has that magic touch to it that's building a fantasy world with creatures and just this world and people we haven't just experienced until through this animation. And it's just a really heart-touching story. I haven't felt this personally, but the way they go about it and the actions and decisions they make to make this story come to life is just something that really stuck with me. And coming in with number 4, we have Run. This is another Hulu film that just really resonated with me. It's a thriller that I had no expectations, or besides that some people weren't liking it so much. And yet, it felt like a Stephen King kind of novel thriller where this girl is sort of trapped in this house. It's sort of a mystery and suspense, and her mother is taking control of things and just manipulating sort of her perspective on the world. And it's just really catching. Like, I've only seen it once, but I do hope, now I'm talking about it again, I do hope to rewatch it sometime soon, because it's just a film that really drew me in. I really felt the emotions, the twist, and how it goes about with the ending as well is just really captivating, and I recommend this film as well if you've not seen it. And make sure to go and comment down below your top 10 favorite movies of 2020. But going into my top 3, we have The Trial of Chicago 7. This is another court case sort of film. I didn't watch so much of it, but it's written by Aaron Sorkin, which is such a great director and writer, and I just was really drawn into this. Just the talking and the dialogue, it's not always so much about the action that's involved, although the action plays out through the dialogue, and the performances were really great because of that, having to express so much, making it feel that much more real, and just the prejudice and decisions that they're making through this court case and through these actions and involving some things that are based off true events just really drew me in and made me enjoy this film on Netflix. Coming in at number 2, we have Tenet, Christopher Nolan's another masterpiece, in my personal opinion. I just really love these huge abstract ideas that he goes for. I'm sort of that type of person myself, just really diving deep into perspectives, and the action and backwards time movements is just really incredible. Having to pay attention to that many details as much, it must have been crazy within the editing room, having to make sure everything goes right. And I've seen it a few times, and it's still that much more amazing. And the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer, John, I don't remember the actors, but David G. Washington and Robert Pattinson, great roles, and all the supportive roles as well. But the story is really what draws you in, what makes me remember it, and puts it at number 2. But coming in at number 1 is Ordinary Love. Now, this is a film that not many people have seen, and some people have seen and dislike it, but I definitely recommend it. Give it a try if you had not seen it already. With Liam Neeson, of all people, in a drama role, a romantic drama, that is about this wife that gets breast cancer, and they just have to deal with the consequences of that, having to go through that as husband and wife, and just the flow of it is kind of slow, and that's what turns some people off. It's very natural, but the art style is very rhythmic and like really draws me in every time. It's so absolutely beautiful and visceral, the way they go about this story, and such a natural storytelling. Same with The Piece of a Woman, but this somehow, for whatever reason, just drew me in that much more. And I've watched it 5 times since I first seen it, so that really shows something that drew me in for someone that doesn't rewatch it, films that close together that many times. And that's what just really draws me into. Whatever reason, this story just clicks with me every time. Ordinary Love gets number 1 of 2020. So that's just my list, but it's not the right list. It's my personal views and my perspectives all combining together to making what I love about movies. But I'd love to hear your list down below, and let's have a nice friendly discussion about our favorites and maybe even our least favorites. You can comment that down below as well. But if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to join this community, this writing community, talking about movies, books, and more. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Bye, friends.